Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Saturday, September 20th, 2025. As we close out the week, we have our weekly ending show coming together where we turn back our production time to 10 p.m. England time. Let's go ahead and find what our friends are up to, what's going on. Let's see who's in the chat. Remember, everybody, it's free to join the chat. Come on. Be part of the conversation. Who do we have out there? We have Andy W., Bob Lazar. I see Brendan England in the chat along with Brains. We've got Kat, Craig Smith, and D7. Dragon Rider FPV is here along with Eliza Teal. We've got Evan B., Geraldine DeRazio. Hell Driver 86 is here along with JCat, John Loop, John Smith, Kathy, King Bull, Clipper. Kelly Broughton, your piercing blue eyes. I see you out there somewhere, Kelly, in your eyes. Something that is more than blue, and that's a good thing. We love you for it, my friend. Who else is out there? We've got Clipper, Laura Campbell, Liberty Astro UK, Maritime Unprepared, Metal Gaming, Mr. Grimlock. We got Mystic Phillies in the chat along with Peggy and her South Florida friends coming all the way from Miami. How about that? We got Laura Campbell just popped up in the chat along with Rainstorm Hunter. We got Roni Deal, Rodney Cox. Good to see you, Rusty Doors. Sam's here along with Scooby-Doo or Scooby-Dooby. Gooby, there we go. New one. Shelly Montgomery's here along with Shinobi One, Kenobi. We've got Steve is here along with Super Unknown. D. Terrence Bruce has popped up along with Chromosome Cowboy. And our dear friends, Wee Beastie. Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. On that note, let's go ahead and jump into the studio directly. Mike, how the hell are you, my friend?
I'm doing well today, Thomas. We have a lot to cover. That's going to be, I think, a fun and interesting conversation to the audience.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It always is, Mike, especially for those who like to follow us on Twitter and they know what the term FAFO means.
I certainly hope they do at this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's have some fun, shall we? All right, our top story coming into it today. Well, there's been calls for the White House to go ahead and start disclosing what they know, Mike, because if you look at it, you'll look at the disclosure, everyone blames the DOD, everyone blames the defense contractors, but the truth of the matter is disclosure comes from the White House, doesn't it?
From the top down. You've been saying that here on the show for years now, Thomas.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come from the White House and the President of the United States, nothing will get declassified and disclosure will not move forward.
Oh, yes, it will. And this article comes to us from, of course, or the story and the soundbite we're about to play comes to one of our proud company we sponsor, and not people, how do I say this? We want to thank Professor Matt Laslo for this wonderful coverage that he's been giving, and there's a battle going on between him and Luna that we're going to be covering next as well. It's the gift that keeps on giving, Mike.
Oh, absolutely it does. And, it's very interesting to say the least that Congress is choosing to deal with the press and freedom of speech and the First Amendment and act like kindergarten children. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, as one of the people who I possibly got a note sent home when he was a kid, probably not, who said does not play well with others. No, that wasn't me. Yeah. It's a reality whether you're in preschool or you're in the halls of Congress, it seems.
It seems to be that way.
All right, so
unfortunately.
Let's jump into this. All right, coming to us, let's see, from Matt Laslo, of course. We got a picture up here of, Jared Moskowitz, and he's a decent voice, and more importantly, Mike, I believe you would call him a blue voice, right? He's from the Democrat Party.
Yeah, he is, and also when we covered the UAP hearing on September 9th live, and during the hearing, I was putting posts up. Right at the end of the hearing, Representative Moskowitz was reposting those stories and putting them back up. So, yeah, we have the attention of certain UAP members of the caucus of the Congress. Yeah. So nice to know that.
Oh, absolutely. Without any further delay, let's get this audio clip here coming from askapol.com and play it for us. Hopefully the audio should work. Let's give it a try.
Takeaways from last week's UAP hearing?
I mean, I think what I said is still the case, which is that I don't know what is true, okay, but I definitely know that the government is withholding information from the American people.
Where do you want the investigation to go next? Like military contractors or?
I mean, listen, it would. I think the Trump administration should be helping us get the truth out.
Yeah.
Get more information out of, these places that have this information, whether that is contractors, more whistleblower protection, right? So.
And you feel like with Republicans in the majority, they have the relationships with
Well, it's not just that. I mean, they've talked about releasing these files, releasing those files, as we've seen some files they don't want to release. But they've talked about all that stuff.
So put your money where your mouth is.
Yes, that's my opinion. We want to see where one. I forget already.
What'd you make of that video that Burleson showed?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't know. There's some conflicting reports on it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely videos out there that are hard to explain.
Yeah. Do you think the hearing was good to put these questions out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
Yeah. This Congress has been so quiet on it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Have a good one, sir.
Yeah, interesting. My conversation coming from Moskowitz saying it's the executive branch that includes the intelligence community, it includes the Department of Energy, it includes the DOD, of course, but more importantly, if the White House has been the primary, if you want to call it agency or whatever you want to call them, that's been covering everything up, it starts at the top, doesn't it?
It starts and ends at the top because the president can, with the swipe of a pen, completely declassify all the UAP information that has been held in secret for 80 years and counting. But let me remind our audience that this administration ran a campaign about specifically declassifying and being a disclosure president. And upon taking office, we found out they're taking the opposite position of that. Everything from the drones to UAP to other very well-known files that Pam Bondi claimed to have on her desk, but then turned around and said
the
there
Epstein
aren't.
files, yeah.
Well, I didn't want to say that name,
Well,
but yeah.
I'll say it anyway for you.
There we go. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, but
yes.
part of the issue is Trump was asked many times during his run for office before he was elected, and he said, yeah, I bring the information out. I think it should be released, and I'll bring it out. And, the last time he was talking about the drones, he's talking about, well, I've been told I can't talk about it or something like that, right? Which means...
He wasn't allowed. He said he wasn't allowed to talk about it. Yeah. Then the question remains, who would be above the president of the United States that would not allow him to talk about any of that information? It's a very odd statement.
Well,
it shows us there's more to this than meets the eye.
Depending if someone or a country or a former president signed treaties with something, not necessarily about the drones, but about the UAP, and we have this secret treaty that's out there, potentially with the non-human intelligence, that prevents us from talking about stuff because otherwise we'll break the treaty and all the good stuff they gave us, they're going to come and take it back and maybe more.
Yeah, that very well could be the case, but we don't know because the disclosure president never gave us that information.
No, not yet. Granted, it's been a crazy 6 months. Maybe they're holding that special card to bring out when shit really hits the fan. You never know.
No, and we're going to cover this later today, and we've already covered a lot of these points already. This administration seems to be doubling down on covering most of this information up, more so than previous administrations, which I find odd as well. But it's not what we expected and not what a lot of people had voted for. And they're finding this out the hard way.
Yeah. Going along those lines, Mike, bringing up a story from our friends and colleagues over at the Washington Post. They do a great job, don't they, under Jeff Bezos, who, of course, originates out of Washington State. Although he moves to Florida, he has a lot of pull here in the state where I live, Mike.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right about that. So, very good people over there at the Washington Post. We know them well.
This is an interesting piece. that just happened yesterday. It hasn't hit any news programs yet. It's been covered in written form so far. But on Friday, the Trump administration unveiled a new crackdown on journalists at the Pentagon, saying it will require them to pledge that they won't gather any information, even unclassified, that hasn't been expressly authorized for release, and will revoke the press credentials of those who don't obey. So if there was a UFO video that was leaked to Congress and Congress spreads it out there, and although it wasn't expressly authorized for release, they could kick the news agencies, which is the kiss of death, out of the press pool in the Pentagon. So under the policy, the Pentagon may revoke press passes for anyone it deems a security threat. Possessing confidential or unauthorized information under the new rules would be grounds for a journalist press pass to be revoked. Now, the Department of War remains committed to transparency to promote accountability and public trust, the document says, using an acronym for the newly rebranded Document of War. However, the DOW information must be approved for public release by an appropriate authorizing official before it's released. Oh my gosh, Mike, you know who that could bring us up into? That means if there's anything that comes out about UFOs, see if I can find this.
Not at all.
Where is their beauty queen at? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can't find her right now. Something screwed up in the way my shit is in here. We just have to look at it and know that if any information comes out about UFOs, but it hasn't been expressly released by Susan Goff, they can get shut down. That just sounds like, it's not freedom of speech that's being taken down here, because it's not like there's a law being made. However, the rules are a bit interesting.
Unconstitutional.
Yeah.
They are shutting down access to the press, the fourth estate, and they don't have a legal right to do that, but they're using what they believe are legal loopholes to try to shut that access down and keep leverage on journalism. So it's really ugly to see this playing out right now publicly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to chip in.
That means your beauty queen, my friend, is in total control of disclosure. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm going to say that sounds more like, to me, like blackmail.
Or dictatorship.
I've got sort of all thoughts of some things that are going on in a potentially friendly country, but yeah, if they're going to pull reporters' credentials, that's definitely blackmail in my book.
Yeah, it is, and it's illegal, I believe, under the Constitution, for them to try to pull this shit.
So if any information about UFOs or disclosure comes out and expressly didn't come from Susan Goff here, Pentagon, you know what? That means the press club from the Pentagon
can't run it.
Will get pulled. But, I guess that leaves us more open for small little independent outlets who don't give a shit whether or not they have press credentials for the Pentagon. It's
Correct.
Going after the big heavyweights, the people who are known for spreading disinformation on a regular basis.
It would only impact corporate media, which is already under the control of the Pentagon.
I wouldn't say, well, no, you could say that, but 95% of it seems to be against the Pentagon, for that matter, and the current administration. But it's just another unnecessary rule that's coming in. I guess they're afraid of leakers, Mike.
Because there seems to be more and more that are going to be coming forward, and they're worried about that.
Yeah.
But let me remind you, we covered this story a while ago as well. The Wall Street Journal had put out that Pentagon hit piece against disclosure and claimed that it was all government psyop that they were running when they had military members that were exposed to UAP information. They called it a hazing. Now, we knew it was a propaganda piece as soon as we heard it, but one of the corporate media outlets ran with it. So we know that they do have access to certain outlets, and they put out the information that the Pentagon wants out there. So it's unfortunate, but this has been going on since the 1950s. It was under the heading Project Mockingbird, which seems to be alive and well today in 2025. So the government has always been trying to stand in the way of the truth coming out for the public and for Congress. It's unfortunate. Yeah,
exactly. And Mike, I have to be honest, Kathy Spires telling me to be careful. Basically, myself and my husband have to be careful about what we say because he'll come after us. I don't think that's going to be the case, just to be honest.
Well, anybody that tries to target us or come after us, they
will pay the price.
Seems to fuck around and find out, they usually do. So yeah, they're more than welcome.
Yeah,
won't get them too far.
Exactly. Now, Mike, this could also be tied to, we're going to put this out there. We're going to say it could be misinformation. It could be disinformation. It may not be accurate. So the YouTube censors out there, if you're looking at stuff saying we're saying this is real, we're pre-classing, and this is just a report coming in from Laura Loomer.
Post. Oh, the Loomer piece. That's right.
The Loomer piece, yeah, where they're talking, Mike. Let me get to this one up here. Where are we at? All right. So urgent intelligence alert. NCTC confirms that Al-Qaeda could have a presence on the U.S. soil with imminent multi-city Islamic terror attacks. Well, Mike, if you use the word imminent in the area of disclosure, that means it's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, it sounds like their sources are coming from that the National Counterterrorism Center has officially determined that terrorists affiliated with Al-Qaeda have infiltrated the U.S. soil. Yeah, of course, the borders were wide open for a long time and are actively planning a series of coordinated Islamic terror attacks. That would not be good. Now, could this be part of the reason why the DOD is clamping down? I don't know, but kind of seems peculiar, Mike.
It does. And they seem to be highly motivated. We haven't had a major terrorist operation here on American soil in a very long time. So if there is a threat that's coming, because the previous administration had open borders and everybody that wanted to get in here got in, that could very well mean that they are getting ready to do something again. So this is a very interesting piece.
Oh, gosh, yes, it is, my friend. No, I know there was another story out there. I thought I had a bookmark. Let me see if I can go ahead and find this. I thought we had another story talking about the Department of Energy locking things down. We
do. But before we get off this piece, what it goes into detail about is that this imminent Islamic terrorist attack is going to be multi-cities within the United States, not one, like it was back in New York in 2001. They're planning a multi-phased attack, and they're going to be primarily targeting hospital institutions and emergency rooms that would cause absolute chaos and confusion. So this is what the government, the intelligence community, believes might be something that we're facing. And that's what this article was focusing on. So people should be aware that it could happen. And if it does, be prepared.
We're not trying to be fear mongers or spread misinformation. This is just something that comes out and, it deserves some weight. And why put our heads in the sand like an ostrich?
Right. No, it's news and we cover the news. And it's something that if it did happen, people really need to be prepared ahead of time, just in case.
Yeah.
So that's all this is. It's just us reporting on the facts as they've come out. And people need to know. So now we can get into the DOE piece. Good segue. And this is also going to be interesting.
Yeah. Now, did you send me a link to that one, Mike?
Yes, I did recently before the show.
All right. Not Moskowitz, not Lockheed Martin. No, Department of Energy. Gotcha. Here we go. This is a tweet you put out earlier today, Mike. Let's go ahead and bring this one up and cover it with our audience. For a lot of people who aren't on Twitter out there, let's get into this. All right. So... okay, so make it a little bit larger so people can see what the hell I'm reading. I'll be nice and considerate. Here we go. So breaking. Sources say the Department of Energy has ordered access to all classified files tied to Immaculate Constellation UAP and NHI, an alleged Pentagon program holding decades of UAP evidence, HD videos, crash debris, and even reverse engineering at Wright Pat. This is coming from a contractor working for the DOE, claims that they received an urgent email demanding access to all classified files tagged with a mega constellation, UAP, or non-human intelligence. If true, this is an active attempt to erase records before Congress can act. And it sounds like, Mike, maybe there was a little bit of slop going on in the information and the different classified networks that are out there that allowed some of this information to flow through to too many eyes.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, they don't want it there on the books so that somebody could find it at any given point in time moving forward. And this email that was sent out yesterday. So this is relatively new and something that they're moving on as we speak right now.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of all that information, all of the DOE files about UAP and the Immaculate Constellation program. So
apparently it's time to clean it up, huh?
Oh, they want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
They don't want anybody to find any red meat on the bone with this.
So insiders say the program holds thousands of high-resolution videos, images collected since 1991, spheres, tic-tacs, triangles, even organic-looking craft that defy physics. Whistleblowers allege a crash retrievals and reverse engineering at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Under the 1954 Atomic Energy Act, the DOE can lock away anything tied to nuclear secrets, including UAP encounters near nuclear sites. That means no FOIA, no oversight, no public access, Mike. But this isn't just about near nuclear sites. They can go ahead and say that the energy sources for these craft contain something that is equivalent to a nuclear decay. And because of that, any of the information about that gets put under beyond top secret classification, doesn't it?
Under the Department of Energy, yeah.
Yeah.
That was according to the 1954 Atomic Energy Act.
Yep.
They shut it all down. So if there's anything that has any type of radiological activity, it becomes theirs and nobody gets to hear about it or see it.
Gotcha. So if we look back, ex-Pentagon analyst Matthew Brown stumbled across this in 2018. Journalist Michael Schellenberger's report in 2023. By November 24th, Representative Nancy Mace submitted a 12-page document during a UFO hearing last year where Elizondo and Grush have both signaled that it's real. This isn't just about UFOs, it's about accountability. If true, unelected officials may be hiding world-changing technology, energy propulsion, or worse from the Congress and the public. Yeah, but it's all under the laws that were passed by Congress, Mike. So if Congress doesn't like it, they need to change the laws, right?
Well, they should. And that's been a lot of the obstacles they've been running into, that they've been publicly complaining about, how the government is withholding information from them. But that's also as a result of the 1947 National Security Act and the 1954 Atomic Energy Act. If they don't like it, they should legislate to adjust it and fix it so they can get access. But have they done that in the past?
No.
76 years? No.
Now, if you remember, though, Mike, on Disclosure tonight, before you were around, we had a roundtable with Lou Elizondo and Danny Sheehan, and we were talking about this specifically. And Danny had a plan back then that he unveiled on Disclosure tonight, along with Sean Cahill. And they talked about how he was going to go ahead and challenge the National Security Act of 1947 because it was unconstitutional. Danny Sheehan, being a constitutional attorney, laid out a really good case that even Lou was surprised that Danny went into so much detail. But unfortunately, like Danny doesn't necessarily do what Danny says, and that whole effort never materialized. You got to wonder why.
That's a good question. But it would require money, a budget, and a lot of time to take on the U.S. government on one of the key laws that they put into place to keep all of this buried as a secret for 80 years and counting.
Oh, money and budget, kind of like something that the National Secrets Task Force doesn't have. And when they had the most recent hearing, there was no remuneration, no per diem, no anything that was given to any of the witnesses who had to travel from all over the country and spend their time testifying in front of Congress. There was no support or funding. And it doesn't seem right, does it?
No, not at all. Not one bit. Of course, it doesn't seem right. There was a request for $35 per day for food expenses for the witnesses that came forward to testify. And since they have no budget, these witnesses were entirely out of pocket and on their own.
So they paid for their travel. They paid for their lodging. They paid for the meals. Everything from the time they left to the house to the time they came back came out of their own pockets, in other words.
It did. And Congress made these demands and acted like they were doing something. But these people had to volunteer their time, their expenses, and got nothing from Congress. So it sounds to me like Congress actually, other than holding the hearing, really hasn't done much to work with these witnesses and bring this information forward.
And the only reason we got David Grush there to be any part of this and what's been going on is because he's been paid out of Representative Burleson from Missouri, his budget that he has, and he got him as a part-time staffer in order to bring that knowledge set into what they needed. It's just, they want to do all these great things, but when it comes time to actually funding this stuff, they'll pay for all these bullshit programs, but to pay for the truth, they're not willing to pay a penny.
No, which is really interesting because all of these congressmen that are in Congress and working on this, they get paid well. Not only that, they have incredible benefits. They have health coverage. They don't pay a penny out of pocket for anything, any health care that they receive. Transportation costs, security costs, everything. It's all taken care of by the American taxpayer. But these witnesses that are key to disclosure, they don't get one penny and one bit of help from the government.
It's not like they even offered them to bring them into their office. They could go down to the Senate cafeteria for meals. At least that would be a minimum.
Yeah, but they haven't done any of these things. They make a lot of demands. They expect a lot from these people, but it's entirely on all of these witnesses' own dime, not theirs.
Yeah.
So it's unfair, and it's really not a big shock or a surprise why, with the last hearing, there were a lot of prospective witnesses that just wouldn't come and deal with this.
Well, probably because, Mike, they still don't have the whistleblower protections that they've been asking for years. I mean, come on, Representative Tim Burchett, for at least a year and a half now, has been trying, in the last Congress and this Congress, he has a one-page whistleblower protection act that he wants to get out there, and he's not been able to get anyone to support it. Granted, now Luna has stepped up to support. It's a small subset of even the UAP caucus, and you just got to wonder, why is everyone so reticent and so unwilling to go ahead and protect whistleblowers?
You know what? You could say it's ineptitude. It's that they don't know what they're doing. They're not equipped. They're not focusing properly. They're not doing the things that their job requires them to do. But at the same time, if you really take a good look at this, it almost seems like it's not accidental. It's almost on purpose. They're trying to make it difficult. They're trying to make sure the truth stays buried. And these people that want to come forward and speak their truth about what they know are not provided the means necessary for them to be able to easily do that, or protections. And a one-page bill to get passed is a joke. That should be something relatively simple. Meanwhile, for the past few years, they have been unable to get those whistleblower protections on the law books. That's strange. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't add up. You do the math. None of this makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Something it doesn't smell right.
Well, something doesn't smell right as much as we've got that wonderful little life form that's going on down in Panama that some people are interested in. Apparently, he's going to kill it off today. Although he has in the past have said this whole thing is a fake and this is a story. So many people are just eating this thing up because they want to believe, and that's a bad place to be in. You want, if anything, you want to have facts, scientifically verified facts, or even just facts that can be corroborated versus just watching a series of videos that someone's putting forward and believing everything.
It's more like wishful thinking on their part. But that's not critical thinking, and it's certainly not proof or evidence. And that video from Panama was debunked within 24 hours of being posted publicly.
Oh, yeah.
So that's okay. Look, we covered this as well. The Hellfire video that was released by Burleson in the UAP hearing, people in the public have jumped on the bandwagon of government disinformation about how what we saw was just a balloon. That's it. And they're doubling down on that, which makes absolutely no sense to you and me, because video analysis has been done by experts and professionals, and they confirmed that that video is showing us something truly anomalous. It is not a balloon, and not something that's prosaic. So the public will believe what they want to believe, right or wrong.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with videos like this.
Yeah.
It's just, it's stupidity.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, and people will go ahead and people just want to believe, and that's why sometimes it turns into Ripley's Believe It or Not, and not necessarily just coming into the facts and getting into it. And we have, there's a bunch of people in the community who want to bring this stuff forward and do it, and it's all for, if you want to call it clicks and views, but I wouldn't say it's dangerous for going ahead and bringing this stuff together. It's just feeding a monster of people who want old school ufology back again. They want the fantasy. They want to believe in anything they can possibly see.
Yeah, but that's what science fiction movies are for, not something as serious as this topic.
Right.
People should be a little bit more critical in their thinking before they jump on the bandwagon. That's how you and I feel. And one of the reasons why we feel this way is because if the public buys too much into all the bullshit that's out there, it will effectively discredit this topic. And anything real that would come out would all instantly not be believed and taken seriously.
Yeah.
And we don't want that.
No.
So that's why we push back against videos like this.
Well, talking about videos like this and other things, there's more rumors coming out there. If you remember, we just had the, if you want to call it, the bidding and the creation of the new F-47 jet fighter that's being created, that new 6th generation fighter they've been talking about for the longest time. Of course, the company who won was Boeing.
Yep.
Blowing out Lockheed Martin and other companies, but Lockheed Martin, I believe, didn't have like $1 billion or a $1.5 billion loss that they recently had
in research and development. Yeah,
right,
they did.
And there's a story coming out about this. Let's get into it. Lockheed Martin dropping something soon. Is it almost here? You don't want to miss this. And they've got a little flashy. Hold on. Let me just get this audio down. Clip of some fancy things and, just some energy kind of stuff going on with, of course, the Skunkworks logo. Rest assured, my friends, this isn't coming from Lockheed. No, it's coming from WOW over on X, who has a lot of things they're bringing out, and he points us towards the LockheedMartin.com news releases. Now, remember, Mike, when they lost the contract for the F-47, that $1.5 billion loss approximately is probably tied to them losing the bid for the F-47.
Of course it is.
And if we take a look at their press releases, there's nothing going on here talking about awarded contract implemented software for upgrading the F-16 flight training. Then we've got Skunkworks and FalconWorks. Basically, we've got Skunkworks and BAE Systems announcing strategic collaboration going back to September 4th. Lockheed Martin CEO and CFO speak to Morgan Stanley's, about their $1.5 billion loss. So people are pointing to Lockheed and said there's major things coming, but seems more like rumors than anything. If we could, Andy, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried if Boeing have won this contract, that they're not going to produce some self-disintegrating aircraft by their recent track record. Yeah.
Right, but
Please don't fly them over the United Kingdom.
they have different divisions of Boeing, and the ones that they have for military and for space and for consumer are all independent entities. So hopefully what they're going to do with the F-47 isn't going to...
It's a little different than what they did with the space program, the Starliner, that trapped astronauts up there for nearly a year. Yeah, hopefully it's different.
Oh,
Thomas,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I've got fingers crossed. Got fingers crossed on this one.
Yeah, I don't. I have serious doubts about that company and the product that they put out publicly. It's horrible. I don't know what the hell the government was thinking by giving him that contract. Surely after the debacle of trapping those astronauts up there for a year, or almost a year, we should have left a bad taste in the government's mouth, but obviously it didn't. I don't know why. They don't have a good track record, that company.
Yes. All right, so if I get back to this, I need to go find this. All right, so as we covered on this last night, Mike, there has been a battle going between Matt Laslo from Askapol.com, someone who we support, and Annapolina Luna. And we've got a video clip from last night to kind of have Matt going off on some things after some tweets with Luna. Let's see if, there's so many things here. Let's start with the video. Do you want to talk about this for a second, Mike, before we play the video?
Well, like you said, we covered this on previous shows since the shit has been hitting.
Well, this is the kind of the recap show for last night. For a lot of people didn't hit it, but. So.
But there seems to be a lot of pushback coming from Representative Annapolina Luna against Professor of Journalism Matt Laslo at Askapol. And she is now saying that he's not professional and that she will no longer be providing direct information ahead of time before it's released publicly.
Yeah.
So it just seems to be a back and forth that she's taking this very personally and throwing a fit like you would do in kindergarten class.
And she was the one who actually, before the hearing, told someone, see you next Tuesday, which is another acronym for CUNT, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So let's get to this first video clip of Matt getting into it. Then we've got a whole bunch of tweets to get into. Let's play this and see where it takes us. All right, here we go. Matt is a little amped up on this one, and rightly so. He's the only person out there in if you want to call from in DC land trying to cover this topic. And when he gets cut off, well, this should.
But you have to understand, he is in the halls of Congress
every day.
Nobody else is doing that. And he's been there for years.
And the questions he's asking to Congress aren't his own questions. It's questions that are coming from the community.
From the public.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So people who elected these officials have a right to know.
Yeah.
And Matt goes out there and provides access to our elected officials to get those answers.
Mm-hmm.
So he does credible work. And sometimes the members of Congress, like Representative Luna, is not happy about that.
Yeah.
As we're going to see.
You know, remember there is a podcast out there called The Observer of Anomalous Objects. If you want to see this whole interview, I highly suggest you jump over to Dale's site over on YouTube and check out his channel. Sounds like he got Matt to talk about some interesting things. Let's get to this clip. Here we go, everybody.
BS. Luna, you have told me that you can't talk about bodies that you and Matt Gaetz saw. You told me that 2 years ago. You're having the chairwoman, and you haven't had a hearing on the bodies you saw? Ma'am, you're a liar. Because guess what? You're either a liar or you're just neutered yourself. You've made yourself impotent as a federal lawmaker, as a chairwoman. Because either you saw bodies with Matt Gaetz at a Florida Air Force base? Like, where's the hearing you promised us last year? You said you were going to do a field hearing. Now you're the actual chair and crickets. Oh, is that because you've been rendered powerless by Speaker Johnson and Chair Comer? BS.
Mike, that is kind of Matt speaking the truth, because if you remember at the beginning part of this year, Representative Luna said there were going to be a couple at least UFO hearings, right?
Yes.
We're lucky we got one this year. And the people they wanted to bring forward aren't willing to come forward. Although she said that was a lie, she actually acknowledged it, that the people they wanted to bring forward weren't willing to come forward. And there's been battles between her and Lou Elizondo, between her and Eric Davis, between her and Matt Laslo. I'm seeing
Ivan Hanel.
I'm Ivan Hanel, and I'm just seeing a pattern here, Mike, that's concerning. If this is the chairwoman of this committee for the declassification of national secrets, and she's conflicting with all these different people. I've never seen so many. Well, maybe I have seen people conflict with it, but not in this kind of a form, especially in the area of disclosure.
Yeah, it's a little emotional from her. And as a sitting member of Congress, it's not professional and it's not appropriate to act in this manner with all of these different people who are in the community. It's a farce is what it is. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. And that's why people have trouble in really taking this seriously, because of behavior like this.
Yeah. For those who want a copy to link to the broadcast, let me go ahead and share that in the chat. Oh, shit. Let me just do this in a better way. Hold on. Twitter's going to give me a redirect.
That, Andy has his hand up. Go ahead,
Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, I missed last night's show, so I was on rewind with it earlier on. I have to totally agree with you with Luna. Your comments yesterday read Tim Burchett. I think she was put in deliberately. She was put in to either muddy the waters or force the whole of the hearing to be basically wound up at some point. Your comments on Burchett yesterday, he's a lot more reserved in his outbursts. I don't think I've ever seen him have a retort with anybody that's negative. I thought in the last hearing, certainly on her opening statements, Luna was exceedingly unprofessional. I don't know whether she was trying to speak way too fast. She garbled a lot of her what she was bringing out. So I think your comments on yesterday's show were pretty nail on the head, really.
Yeah,
I can tell you why that is, Andy, because back in 2023, when she was claiming about the field hearings that they were going to hold, or she was going to hold, I reached out to members of Congress and I asked directly if it was possible for Congress to hold a field hearing out in the middle of nowhere outside of a military base. And what I was told was that if Congress is going to hold an official hearing, they will only do it within the halls of Congress in Washington, D.C. So I asked, why would Representative Luna make comments like that if it wasn't true? And their response was that they are all aware that a lot of the statements that Representative Luna makes publicly are, they diplomatically phrased it as, they used the word, sometimes can be very inaccurate. So they were being polite, but they were very clear about what they were telling me. And that is that don't believe what comes out of her mouth, because it's often not true. And I think, Thomas, you have it bookmarked. I sent you the Ask-a-Poll Matt Laslo post recently that addresses information that he's gotten directly from Luna that he published.
Yeah. Well, I've got this here at the bottom of the thing. We'll get to it if I want to go ahead and bring this up here. Here we go. We have Luna responding to this video that we just watched saying, I have never not has Matt Gaetz, great grammar here, claimed to see the bodies. This is categorically false. That guy is going off the deep end. What does Matt Laslo come back and said? Thank you for finally admitting that both of you and Matt Gaetz, misled Askapol subscribers, your constituents, and your fellow congressional UAP caucus members, one of them who informed me of the wild claims that you and Gaetz made behind closed doors. Hello, Tim, potentially. In this moment of honesty, clarity, any other lies you want to fess up to? DMs are open, as you know, ma'am. So Matt is taking this head on, and he actually went and he posted, is it here? No, there's a clip going back to a conversation with Luna, I believe, Mike.
Right.
And
he lets her know that he has the tape.
Well, he's got the tape. Let me get back to the studio for a second so I can go ahead and find this one. He's got the link to Ask a Poll. No, this is not it. He's got an audio clip of him talking with Anna Polina Luna, where she basically comes back and what she says, no comment when being asked about, when he was asked about her, a little bird had stated that when you were down at Eglin with Matt Gaetz, that you saw some alien bodies. And she was like, no comment. I can't talk about that. Right. And that's where it comes from, I believe, Mike, where she was asked specifically about rumors of what she was telling other UAP caucus members behind the scenes. Then she gets asked about it. She gets upset about it. And she says, well, you know what? There's no comment. There's nothing I can talk about. Rather than just saying, no, that's false.
Right. She got all emotional, like she got caught and didn't want it to come out. She didn't think that Matt Laslo was going to be able to get information about what goes on behind the scenes in Congress and then address it to her. So she got pissed off and bent out of shape. And he let her know that he has the tape. So he has proof. And she is not a happy camper, but there's another post that he put out that goes into detail about the stories and information he's already covered directly from
Well,
her.
I've got that in an original story here, Mike. It may not be the one you're talking about. Let me bring this one up here. And this is coming from February 29th, 2024, where we have, let me get rid of that chat off the screen. Here we go. Updated. Reps Luna and Gaetz shown videos of bodies. Source tells Askapol. And this is going to be Matt Laslo going ahead and talking with Anna Polina Luna. Let's see if this is a 22-second clip, so let's just play it and see where it goes.
A birdie. You had a briefing with Mr. Gaetz and you saw bodies?
I cannot discuss these things, you know that.
Was that classified or?
I'm sure we'll have field hearings. No comment.
No comment.
No comment. Okay. What did she say again?
Was that?
Not discuss these things. I cannot discuss these things, you know that.
I cannot discuss these things, you know that. But if it's something that's false, right, she should be able to say, oh, come on. You're talking like a sausage. You're talking like an idiot. That never happened. But she doesn't.
She didn't say that. No. And then she goes on to say, I'll discuss that at the field hearing.
Was that classified or?
I'm sure we'll have field hearings. No comment.
No comment?
No
It's
comment.
intriguing.
I'm sure we'll have
Have a good one, man.
field hearings. No comment. So this is the thing that she said, I never said anything. I never acknowledged it. But here's the thing. She had the opportunity to say, no, that's bullshit. That never happened. And what does she do? She takes the typical politician role and just leaves it out there with a question mark and saying, we're going to have field hearings, I promise. What field hearings? Mike, were there field hearings I forgot about? Did they happen and we didn't realize it? Are they in a different timeline than we are now?
Maybe a different dimension, Thomas, but according to Washington, D.C., and the sitting members of Congress I spoke directly with, they assured me Congress does not hold field hearings. Only in Washington, D.C., official hearings are held, which we know already.
Right.
So when she makes comments like that, it's laughable. of
Well,
how
it's
wrong
something
she
you
is.
would do if you had a church committee. And I know that was something Tim was asking about before today's show, saying, hey, do we have a church committee or something because of how it's being talked about? No, we've never had a church committee on this because it was never put forward. That was asked by Representative Burchett, asked initially of Mike Johnson when he was first elected because he voted for him to bring into office and to bring him into his role. And he was shut down at that time. Not Luna wasn't shut down. Tim Burchett, because he was the only one opening his mouth and talking about this stuff then, which is another reason why Tim should have been the head of this committee and not Luna.
Vote was because there was a horse trading done behind the scenes, behind closed doors, where he had told Johnson, I'll give you my vote to get you in, which he did. But when you're now Speaker of the House, I want you to form either a committee or a hearing, and I will be the chair of that because I'm familiar with this topic better than anybody else in Congress.
Now,
and
really,
it was agreed upon that he would, but that
Yeah.
never materialized.
addressing the message here from Scooby Dooby Gooby, politicians are allowed to lie right to your face only when they're in the halls of Congress, I believe it is, Mike. When they're in a hearing, when they're in a session of Congress, they can lie as much as they want and they won't get in trouble. As soon as they step away from that venue, they lose protection, don't they?
Oh, yeah, immediately. They're exposed. But some of them don't really care about that, including, obviously, Representative Luna. No interest. She'll lie right through her teeth and say whatever she goddamn well pleases, and who's to be the wiser? Not the public, not her colleagues.
Now, Laura said she thought Congress members could hold a field hearing. Yeah, they could hold one, potentially, I believe.
But they never have.
They never did.
And Congress's official policy on it is they will hold official hearings only in Washington, D.C., period. That's it. And I got that right from the horse's mouth. So they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So when she says field hearings, she's talking out of her ass. It's unfortunate, but this is one of the points that Matt Laslo has been making about her. And he's not wrong. But there was another post that I sent you before we went live on the show today, where he puts up a post that addresses him getting information from her and publishing it.
Yeah.
Before this big blowout. You could read that to the audience.
I mean, there's people pushing back on Matt saying, sorry, pal, I disagree with your judgment on this. You come across like you're pissed off and affecting your judgment. Matt says, of course, no, so sorry, that's what you heard. Not at all the case, though we don't like when lawmakers mislead our audience, or voters for that matter. Compare responses from Senate and Intel members when asked about bodies to how Luna and Gates responded night and day. More so, working to get the next confirmation from UAP caucus member who told us Luna and Gates reported being shown bodies in a briefing. Be right back. So how about that? We've got some additional information coming in from Matt, and he is just on fire as usually, Mike, and he's not standing down to the pressure coming from Luna. Gee, I wonder why.
Because he's got the receipt. He has the proof. That's why he's not backing down. He's dead wrong.
She may be able to intimidate heterosexuals, but I don't think she has the same intimidation factor to homosexuals. Let's just say that.
Well,
we deal with lesbians enough, let's just say. We understand how it can go. Not that she is one, but yeah, talking from that area. All right, what else is coming in here? Anything else from? It's crazy, Mike.
And it shouldn't be escalating publicly in the way that it is, especially coming from Congress. It's uncalled for, and it doesn't look good to the public.
Yeah. And she does, Matt comes out another point and says, well, info is a stretch because real Annapolina Luna is now claiming her fellow senior UAP caucus member lied to Askapol's UAPs last year. I really think, Mike, that we're talking about Burchett here.
Yeah.
Because Burchett is kind of new to Congress, but I think he's senior to Luna, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He's senior to her.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's also would explain, since she's been chair of the task force, why we haven't heard much publicly from Burchett. He's got very quiet.
Here we go. Coming from that same person, senior UAP caucus member lied to you, asked to pull UAPs last year. You might have just outed your source. Only Burchett and Mace have served in Congress longer than other caucus members. How about that? Yeah, it could be Timmy. We love you, Tim. And your two donkeys.
Yep.
Two intelligent dogs. I mean, not dogs, donkeys that almost act like dogs are always escaping out of their pens. And Tim is always chasing after them on his own. You got to love him.
Yep. But if he did come forward to Matt Laslo and provided that information, he did the right thing. He's telling the truth about what she's been doing and what she's been saying. Yeah. So
come and look at this, says Matt, are you saying they lied to you and told you they saw alien bodies? They will learn not to fuck around with Matt Laslo. Yeah, he's a professor of journalism. Mike, let me throw this back to you for a second. I have to go take care of the library.
Absolutely. No, he is absolutely a teaching professor of journalism. So what that means is he is the one who is teaching the students how to be journalists. So he's not just somebody who is practicing it. He is somebody who is actually doing it. So he's credible, beyond a shadow of a doubt. He is absolutely credible, and she is acting like somebody who is really getting bent out of shape about what the hell she's doing, and it doesn't look good. So I can tell you that, yeah.
Mike, is it usual for when in the press to have this kind of repartee back and forth with a congressperson?
Well, I could tell you, we've just discussed this. We made this point. Unlike most other journalists, Tim, Matt Laslo is embedded literally inside Congress. Every day he is walking the halls of Congress with the sitting congressmen and women, and he interacts with them in Congress every day. So he is well versed in who they are, what they do, and what's going on. So I think he has a unique perspective and a direct experience with all of these sitting members of Congress. So he is qualified to speak on things like this, right or wrong, as far as the information. Other journalists don't wander the halls of Congress like he does. Now, the post that I was talking about was that Matt Laslo told Representative Luna, we're real journalists here at Askapol. So no, we stopped reporting any new Representative Luna news months ago. Luna cost us credibility for simply relaying the chair's bad info. The last time Askapol posted a scoop from Chair Luna, we had to publish a correction. The last time Askapol posted a scoop from Chair Luna, we had to publish a correction, and many things before that. We're not burning bridges with a source. Our sources are solid. Consider this a public service announcement to the UAP UFO community. Seriously, Rep. Luna, where's the UAP field hearing you promised for 2 years? What about confirming a public UAP hearing this spring, only to then check with staff and realize your team didn't file proper paperwork, thus hearing canceled? Where's the USO hearing you told us caucus was for sure doing last year? Maybe whistleblowers just don't trust you. They trust unless we're publishing a scoop from you, Madam Chalin. Because a scoop from you regularly results in us needing to correct the record with a retraction. That may be nothing to you, but it crushes our souls to mislead the public. Hence, we don't trust you. Pardon me, that was brash. We do trust that you live a lie or merely spread them regularly to reporters. So he was direct in approaching her and his interaction and his news organization.
Mike, you're breaking up again.
Yeah, and do you think that
incorrect.
it's possible that Burchett and Burleson could come out and take the heat off of her and possibly support some of what they saw in that field hearing that they went on? And
There was no field hearing.
well, okay, their excursion.
It was just a visit sitting members of Congress to interview pilots who requested them to, and not a field hearing. It was an interview. That's all it was. And then the problem that arose from that is that they were blocked by the base commander from accessing and interviewing those pilots, which is a different story altogether. But that's what occurred back in 2023. So now what we're discussing is the fact that Representative Luna has given false information time and time again. And anytime that Matt Laslo had published that information, he then had to put out retractions publicly. So I can understand why he feels the way that he does about interacting with her. And the threat that she recently made to him, how she was no longer going to provide information to him directly anymore until it was officially released to the public, is not a threat at all. It sounds like a journalistic community. What do you think?
Well, I guess my final rebuttal would be, do you think that Burleson and Burchett could come out and support what she's defending here, but also at the same time support that this video that they observed was real?
Well, I don't know about the video, but I can tell you that according to Matt Laslo, what happened was a sitting member of the UAP caucus had told him directly that Representative Luna had been telling other members of Congress behind closed doors about seeing bodies. So Matt Laslo has that on tape, and I believe the unnamed individual who's a UAP caucus member, and I've been pointing out, is probably Representative Tim Burchett. So if that's the case, Burchett already addressed this by going to the press and revealing what he knew about what was going on or what Luna was saying in Congress. So I hope that clarifies what was really happening. Doesn't mean they were bodies. It doesn't mean that she saw anything, but she was claiming to have, and then she denied it when asked about it. Do you understand, Tim?
I do. Thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad we can try to straighten this out because it truly is a convoluted mess.
It is. And getting back to what, this is another post that came out from Matt Laslo today, reposting an older post that he had from the past. Where was that at? Here we go. Was Luna lying in 2024 when her and Gates deployed strategic silence to fan the viral claim, or is she lying now? In 2024, a UAP caucus member told me Luna and Gates were briefed by some people that had videos of bodies. When asked to verify or debunk the claim, Gates' spokesperson in 2024 said, "We can confirm that we received a briefing with Rep. Luna. We have no comment on the contents of that briefing at this time." And Luna in 2024 said, "I cannot discuss these things." Luna says in 2025, "I have never, has Gates ever claimed to see bodies. This is categorically false. That guy is going off the deep end." What changed? Luna went from cannot comment, i.e. refusing to debunk what she now claims is a widely false allegation, as it went viral globally in 2024, to publicly refuting her fellow UAP caucus member claims in 2025. So Matt is doubling down on this, Mike, and he's not giving up. He's got the receipts.
He's not. He does. He's not wrong. He's calling her out on the fact that she has publicly contradicted herself, which is not a good look for a sitting member of Congress and the task force.
Yeah,
she looks bad in this, and he's calling her out on it. Good for him. He's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
This bullshit that we're getting from Congress needs to stop. And Professor Matt Laslo seems to be pushing back against it. I don't hear anybody else talking about this, but it's a good story because it involves the truth and members of Congress, and we need to get to the bottom of what's really going on. And he's doing a great job, I think, of it. Don't you?
Yeah. He's calling it out for exactly what it is, and we know there's a lot of other UAP broadcasts out there that may not cover this, but you know what, Mike? This is kind of the inner workings and inner battles of what goes behind the public scenes and disclosure, and I think the audience deserves to know.
They do, which is why we're covering it as well. And it doesn't hurt that we're good friends with Professor Matt Laslo and colleagues of his, so we know exactly where he's coming from and what it is that he's doing. He's doing the right thing, and the public needs to know. They need to know exactly what's really going on, because if they take what Representative Luna says at face value, they're going to be misled. And that's not a good thing, not for them or not for Congress. It gives Congress a bad look. So this truth needs to come out, which it looks like Matt Laslo is trying to provide for the public.
Yeah, I mean, he goes on again. Let's get into it. If Luna couldn't discuss content of classified briefing last year, as she claimed, why is she discussing it now publicly? Or if content of classified briefing with Gates has been declassified, why hasn't the information been disclosed to the public UAP hearing that Luna just shared? Good points, Matt.
Yeah, that's right.
We have to hold people in office accountable for what they say and what they do, unfortunately. And if she's talking out one side of her mouth and out something out the other, it doesn't go well, does it?
It doesn't. And I'll also share something with our audience that you and I picked up on and were covering about Representative Luna and the hearing. She made public statements prior to the hearing, claiming that she is in talks with foreign adversaries, foreign governments on the UAP topic, and that at the hearing, she was going to be releasing more information about her trying to work with countries like Russia. That it was George Knapp who testified at the hearing about the UAP program that Russia had been running for decades.
Right.
She
cut him off, didn't she?
She cut him right off. In the middle
and
of him
George
speaking.
knows how to work things and say things down to a timer. He's watching the countdown clock for what he's going to put in. He knows what he's going to have to do to carve his conversation to go ahead and finish by this time was allotted. She cut him off mid-sentence and wouldn't let him finish.
No, she wouldn't. And then as we got through the Congress, the hearing, what had occurred was he didn't mention anything about the public statement she made about her and the task force working with foreign countries like Russia on the UAP topic. She made the statement, but at the hearing, never breathed a word about it. And then after the hearing, nothing. Crickets is all we got.
Yeah.
Like it never happened, like she never said it. But she did, clearly.
Yeah.
And never went back to it again. When she did say that publicly, and you and I covered it, one of the points that I believe you and I were talking about was, how is it even remotely possible that she could enter into some sort of an agreement and work closely with Russia, of all places, while we're in a big proxy war with Russia over Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they even entertain working with somebody like her or the task force on this topic? You and I said to the audience, it doesn't seem likely. But then we were reserving judgment until we got final word from her, which we never did after that. So it seems to be that every point that Matt Laslo has been making about her, we've been covering as well. And we're seeing that he's making correct points. She says things, she puts shit out there, but then she never follows up on it ever again. Like it goes away into smoke, ghost, like it never happened.
Yeah.
She'll act like she never made that comment, but she did, which is frustrating for us, the public, and journalists who are trying to cover this information, which is why the statement that I read prior just now, that Matt Laslo claimed he doesn't use information from her for months now because it's always false and he has to go back on it. This is just confirming that. And we ourselves have seen that from her.
Yeah. Now, this is another tweet that's been reposted by Matt Laslo at Askapol. Hope folks know how much the UFO investigation is hampered by having Luna as chair. Nobody but Matt Gaetz takes her seriously on Capitol Hill. Cause like we see here, she is willing to blatantly lie, contradicting her own past on the record claims. Wow.
Right.
It's getting deep.
Yeah, but it's also true. and he's got the proof to back it up. So he's not wrong. And she's called out time and time again on a lot of the bullshit that she puts out there publicly. She should just stop doing that, but she won't. That's just who she is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And yeah, listen, this is one of the reasons why disclosure is not moving forward, not from Congress, not from the executive branch, and why all of the obstacles like no whistleblower protections, no budget, these things are not being addressed by Congress or resolved. So that's why we are stuck in the position we're in. It's like being in the twilight zone. We're in limbo on disclosure right now.
Yeah.
And she's one of the reasons.
Oh, and then some, Mike. I'm trying to get the video clip we played last night up, but it's not showing on. Here we go. This is what we're talking about yesterday that happened with Matt Laslo trying to ask some questions of Annapolina Luna, where he got the inevitable cold shoulder. Let's go ahead and bring this one up. All right, here we go. Is the video of that. Let's play this clip so everyone can hear it.
What were you saying, Madam Chair? You guys aren't going to be talking a lot. We have to go. Yeah.
So first thing is we have to go. They're ignoring him, and he's on the do not talk list.
No.
Right.
We'll be publicly releasing all the information that we're doing shortly.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll be publicly releasing all the information in the future, meaning that I don't have comments for you. We're going to publicly release the information. No comment.
Right. But he very clearly, in the statement I read, told her that he doesn't take information from her for months now because it's never accurate, and he doesn't like being a part of lying to the audience and the public.
Yeah. He's looking for the truth like every reporter should be.
That's right. He doesn't want to cover something that she said and then have to put out a retraction about it. So that tells you where she's at, where she's coming from, and what's going on. This is not good behavior, not professional.
No, won't even acknowledge him, just
Congress.
keeps on walking. She says her stuff and just keeps on going and acts like the poor guy doesn't exist. But you have to look at it. How many other reporters are there trying to ask her questions, Mike? Is it a gaggle at this point where there's a whole bunch of people grouping around? No, it's one reporter trying to get an answer out of her. And sorry for Matt being on the do not talk to list.
Right. And again, he's embedded inside Congress. So he's there when no other reporters are there. And he's there every day, nonstop. He's following them around. He's paying attention to what's unfolding. And he reports on it every day. So you don't see anybody else there. So he's credible. He knows what he's talking about. He deals with these people directly. He's not talking out of his ass, is the point.
No, he's not.
And she obviously does.
That seems to be the point of what's going on. Unfortunately, it's a shit show.
It is. It really is. But look, we're getting towards the end of the 119th Congress. We're going to be heading into the holidays soon. When that happens, we go through a hiatus. And then the end of the year, the Congress closes out, and there'll be, in the beginning of next year, there'll be the 120th Congress that'll come in.
Yeah.
We maybe won't have to continue to deal with this shit show in the way that it's been going on during the 119th Congress.
Hey, we've got some interesting news coming from Lou Elizondo's attorney, Ivan Handel, who's been on our show many times in the past, Mike. He's got a tweet he just put out here. Let's go ahead and cover this. 2:47 p.m., which is just about, a little less than an hour ago. Here are a few simple suggestions for the task force. 1, issue a policy brief explaining the UAP issue. Sum it up where you started, where you are, and where you need to go, and how you intend to do that. That's what they should have done up front.
Absolutely.
You can do your own RO-style report. 2, draft a joint opinion piece for the New York Times or Wall Street Journal to articulate in a simple way. 3, do a town hall meeting online with a moderator and online questions where you explain yourself and your thinking as a group, and make sure at least one of you is a Democrat. do one or all three. If I am mistaken and any of these has been done already, my apologies. Mike, I don't think any of these things have happened yet, but Ivan makes a really great point that we can stand behind.
Oh, absolutely. He's correct. He's an attorney. He's familiar with the law, and he's heavily aware of this topic and the government. So, yeah, they should have done all of these things. He's absolutely right about that, Tom.
Yeah. You know, Ivan said he was going to stay away from it, but at least he's here. He's someone who isn't basically attached to any particular endpoint of where disclosure is going to go. He just wants the truth.
Yeah, he does. And he is setting the record straight for everybody. Good for him. He's also doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And he's not getting paid for his time to do this. And he's doing this so that the public could be informed and aware of everything that's going on. So kudos to him as well.
Another comment that he brought up with, good one. If we bullied our Congress the way we bully each other, imagine how far ufology could go. That's true.
No, he's not wrong.
Yeah, imagine if the Lou haters, Mike, and they know who they are out there, went and took all their effort towards trying to get Congress to give us the truth, and that will end the conversation of who did what, where, etc. Let's just put all these things that divide us apart and all coming together at the goal is Congress, executive branch. We want the fucking truth. Let's stop beating each other up and actually try to get a goal.
That's true. If the anti-Lou crew had put their energy into actually accomplishing something for disclosure, that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what they do. So that's another reason why disclosure has been dying a slow death on the vine.
Yeah.
It hasn't moved forward.
It's a freaking disaster, Mike, that's only getting worse. I hate to say it.
Unfortunately, that's correct. I wish it wasn't, Thomas.
Yeah. Let me make sure. I think we've about covered everything today, have we, Mike?
I think we have.
Let me double check my bookmarks. I've checked them once, checked them twice. All right. This is one last thing we'll cover. We got a couple people in the back with their hands up before we'll get to Dr. Beatrice Vitriol, who's saying that, you know, she's bringing up the old story about NASA becoming an intelligence agency. I think it's always been an intelligence agency. They just took the wrapping off the president that everyone thought they got one thing and they got something else. Let's go to Tom Whitmore first and then Andy W. Tom, go ahead.
Hi, Thomas. Hi, Mike. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah, we hear you fine, Thomas.
Okay. I'd like to play devil's advocate, and I want to respectfully take a different approach here.
Okay.
I don't think that it's wise to antagonize or attack a member of Congress, much less a chairperson of a committee. And I made this point a few days ago, but the last public hearing in Congress on UFOs was in the 1960s. And the best researchers at the time in the 1980s advocated congressional hearings and got nothing. This is the first time in many, many years that we've even had Congress people interested enough to take any action at all. And whether she deserves it or not, I think that Representative Luna should be treated with courtesy and respect. And going on social media and calling her a liar is not going to advance our cause. And I think the effect that has is she won't talk to Matt Laslo, and he's the only guy we've got on Capitol Hill. Okay?
Right. Yeah, you're
and
right.
she's probably going around telling other Congress people, don't talk to him because he's very pushy and he's very demanding and he acts like a kid who wants everything that he wants now. Don't even talk to him. And that could very well be the effect of the kind of behavior that he's been exhibiting lately. Now, you have to, well, let me speak for myself, but you have to develop rapport with a person so that they trust you. If they don't trust you, they won't share any information. And I just like to see a different approach being taken here. Thank you.
I can respect that, Tom. You make good points. But let me point out real quick. Number one, Representative Luna is the chair of a task force, not a committee. And it's not the same thing as a committee. And the next point is that the information that she has put out publicly in statements has proven to be false. At that point, we and Professor Laslo have called her out on it, and then he had to post retractions. So as a member of journalism, when you are covering a story and then it turns out to be false, you do a follow-up on that. Do the exchanges get a little heated sometimes? Yes, they do. Is that entirely correct and professional? Probably not. But then again, let me remind you that we're all human beings with emotions, and especially if somebody is on their feet all day in Congress, every day, walking up and down those halls, trying to talk to these members every day, and you get lied to, and then you look like a fool for covering it and have to issue and publish an apology, you would be a little frustrated as well, I would assume. So I can understand both sides of it, Tom.
Take a mic.
Well, but the thing is, if I was doing Matt Laslo's job, there's a difference between trying to get a scoop and then going public with it immediately. You know, you talk to a congressperson, they say something, and you think you got a scoop, and you go public with it. Then later on, they reverse themselves, or they don't follow up, or they've lied, or something like that. I'd be keeping notes and making note of everything that people were saying and not saying. And I think that there's a proper time and a proper place to share what it is that you're learning by talking to the Congress people. Now, even though we may think we have some inkling, I don't think we have any idea what's really going on behind the scenes there. And there are much more powerful people in Congress than Anna Luna. And she's probably dealing with pressures and objections and obstructions, and barriers that we don't know about. And I just don't think there's anything to be gained by calling her a liar in public on social media.
Well, the exception to that, I believe, is when she has blatantly been caught lying. You can't ignore it, sweep it under the carpet, especially if you covered it initially, got caught in that lie, and then had to issue an apology for it and a retraction. You have to explain both sides of it at that point, which is what I believe Professor Laslo has been doing. So, and as far as Congress, a large percentage of Congress is not really focused on this topic at all. Only a handful, like the UAP caucus members and certain members of the Senate. Everybody else is busy with their own agendas and prosaic issues that are going on all around the world. So overall, in the grand scheme of things, any of the members of Congress that will talk about this, it's a small number. So what Professor Laslo is doing, and even what Thomas and I are doing in covering this, we're not creating enemies or burning bridges or sources with powerful members of Congress because, to be perfectly honest, they don't really have a large interest in this topic whatsoever. So that's the reality of all of this. And if blatant falsehoods are put out there, we would be doing a disservice to the public by not covering all sides of it.
Yeah.
At least that's how I see it.
There
That's
is
my
another
opinion,
statement that's come out from Anna Luna, Mike. Let me go ahead and bring this up. This is in Tupacabra. Said, pray for Matt Laslo. Anna Luna responded, I meant to say I have never, nor has Matt Gaetz ever claimed to see bodies. I am no longer giving scoops to reporters, especially since Laslo has been very rude, which is why he is pissed at me. I will be posting directly online so everyone can see. No gatekeeping. But here's the thing. Anna Luna hasn't been putting a lot of things out there, and if we have to wait for her to go ahead and post about it, are we ever going to see anything?
Probably not. So yeah, she's obviously
doubling
not very
down.
Happy. Yeah. But we just played the video clip of him asking her a question and she ignored him and kept walking and told him the same thing, that she's going to be posting information publicly, not dealing with reporters. He wasn't rude with her. He said, thank you. And she walked away. I didn't see him attacking her in front of Congress when he asked that question. But she's all bent out of shape and taking this very personally. So she's making comments like this. It's, you know what? Tom is right. This is the wrong way of how this should be going out publicly at this point. And she is also responsible for that. It takes two to tango. And this is going on both sides of the fence, not just one.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Well, I think he's calling her a liar. Am I incorrect?
Not in that video clip we just showed.
But in some of the tweets and other things saying, you told me this is what you said. Yeah, Matt's a bit heated at this point, so it is what it is.
Well, he is a human being after all. So can be emotional if he knows something not to be true and can prove it, and she's doubling down on it. So what do you expect him to do? Say nothing? He has to say something.
Yeah.
I would. So I think he's doing the right thing. But at the same time, I can also play devil's advocate as well. And I can say that maybe he needs to take a breath before he speaks or says anything publicly and calm down a bit. It might help the impression that he puts out there when he speaks. Him being that excited or upset doesn't have a good look either. Which is why when you and I cover a story on either side of the fence, we're not emotional about it, no matter what we're talking about, because we don't have the luxury to do that. When you're discussing or reporting on behalf of the public to the public, you have to try to do your best to remain neutral, unbiased, and calm and professional. That's the only way that the public is going to take whatever you're saying seriously. And sometimes I think Matt gets a little heated, like you pointed out. Which, again, being a human being, I can understand it. But he should maybe take a breath next time before he responds publicly. That's all. What do you think?
Yeah. Take a breath, relax, go for a walk, come back and think about it.
Right.
It works.
Yeah. You and I discuss every story privately before we're going to discuss it publicly. And we know what we're going to say, and we know how we're going to say it. And we sometimes deal with things off the cuff, like when it's breaking stories that we weren't prepped on prior, and we just speak how we feel. But that's what reporting is all about. That's how it works.
Yeah. And don't forget how she went after other things we're talking about, a sitting person in Congress. Don't forget how she told someone before the hearing, see you next Tuesday, which is the abbreviation for, well, you know what it stands for, Mike.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of other stuff that's in there. So, you know, I think everyone needs to potentially up their game a little bit and just be a little bit more truthful with the things that are going on. I think that would be helpful for everybody. We all want the truth.
Yeah,
we're tired of the word games. We're tired of people talking about stuff or not talking about stuff. Just tell us the frickin' truth. I think we deserve that.
You know, on the old TV show Dragnet, Sergeant Joe Friday, played by Jack Webb, he had a famous catchphrase, and it went like this: just the facts, man. That's what we need. That's what we want. Yep. No rhetoric, no emotion. Just the facts.
We don't need your beliefs, where you're at. Don't tell me you believe this or you believe that. Just the facts. And that's something that Stanton Friedman had said many times in the past as well. Just the facts. Give us the facts. Let's decide based on that.
Yeah, I agree. That's the right approach. But as we have been seeing, that's not always a path most taken.
No, not usually.
No.
On that note, wow, what a great show. Great conversation today.
Yeah,
Tom,
with fun conversation.
I've had my hand up.
Go ahead, Andy. I'm
for a
sorry. Go
while.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. A couple of things really. I'm just gonna follow up with the Laslo and Luna Levin. I think Laslo needs to take a bit of a breath, but also I think Luna needs to grow a bit of a thicker hide on the girl as well. But also, I want to bring up very, very quickly something again on last night's show about the UAP Disclosure Act being shut down. Now, I believe it was Senator Roger Wicker.
That's in the Senate.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how many people have actually looked at who his funders are. His second biggest funders, who? Lockheed Martin. So we all know who he dances to. So yeah, it's just something I wanted to follow up as I missed last night's show. But obviously he's being steered by his political funding and supporters. Yeah. So people really I found it's on a website called Open Secrets. So it's just
a good website,
interesting website. Yeah, it's a really good website for people. If you want to find out who's funding your own political representative in your area, senators or whatever have you, go on there, and it's quite enlightening. You get a good idea of who's actually taking money from who, and who's guiding who. It's well worth looking at that.
Yeah, thank you for that insight.
That's from my
Andy.
American friends.
We'll have to check that out. Definitely will. Thank you, sir. Any final words for our audience in the United Kingdom tonight?
That's it. I'm just glad everybody managed to make it in tonight.
Oh yeah. Wonderful to have everybody here in the audience. Good to see Kelly Broad. Kelly, we may not see politically eye to eye on X and stuff, but it's not like you say something, I say anything. I'm going to block you. I'm going to keep you out. And that's the way the things should go, is irrespective of how you see things politically. Disclosure is something that can bring us all together. Right, Mike?
Yeah, it is. Because we're all looking for the truth. We want to know what's really going on. And it really has no bearing on what side of the aisle that you are politically.
Yep.
Because as we saw with initially the David Grush hearing, it was bipartisan effort from both sides of the aisle at that time, if you remember, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we need, that type of approach.
Absolutely, my friend. Disclosure is a two-way street. It involves everybody. So let's get everybody together and fight for the cause. Most importantly, I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats today. Who am I talking about? We had super chats from Mr. Grimlock not once, but twice. And Kay Northup. Remember, this is a fan-funded program. We appreciate everybody's love and support for what we do here on Disclosure tonight. I want to thank Mike and the panel and everyone for coming in tonight. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Oh, my pleasure. And again, you did a great job with the show tonight. Thank you for doing it. And it was a lot of fun. Good conversation. We covered a lot of different subjects today.
Absolutely, my friend. As we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody, but
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you in the flip side. Good night, everybody. Y'all come back now here. Take care. Bye-bye.